The purpose of the topic that I chose, how FBI profiles serial killers and how they aid in solving crimes and how they also profile these crimes in a way as how they work together to profile these serial killers. In the world of FBI's profiles, it's where psychology meets crime fighting. In this way, it's how they know how to profile these serial killers their whole childhood. And it's not like shows you see on TV, like Criminal Minds. These shows show you the art of profiling, but the real world profiles are more fascinating and it's more crucial, more dangerous criminals, and it's a lot more dangerous than what you see in TV. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to tell you and inform you how FBI profiles serial killers and how they assist in solving these crimes, as well as how they catch them. And according to the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit, the BAU, helps profiles narrow down who these serial killers are and prevents them from doing any more harm to others in the way they profile them, as well as prevent further crimes down the way, and brings justice to the victims and the victims' families, and knowing that they caught them just in time, or if they were too late, they still bring justice to the family who caught these serial killers who hurt their family, friends, as well. And the way that this narrows down these methods that they use that have been working very well for many years, and as well as how they create different profiles for different people, as well as knowing that they found a way to stop these crimes, as well as the history of criminal profiling. The history of criminal profiling back then was in the 19th century, when investigators used psychology to understand and attempt to apprehend the famous serial killer known as Jack the Ripper. He was the most known back then, if not being discovered, caught, because the way he stood was late at night in the middle. The victimology of trying to apprehend Jack the Ripper was no use, as in he was never caught, and it was the first time that investigators, as I said, used psychology to try to find him, but there was no avail to that because it was a lot more difficult, because back then they didn't have evidence, they didn't have a way to know who they were, because the only thing that they had was a dirty apron from the woman that he killed, but they didn't know it was his blood or her blood, but that was something that they had but they never used, and that was something that it was a clue, and it was sort of messy too, as I'm get onto that with how this behavior usually seeks out to understand, and the experiences and the psychology makeup of these criminal suspects in solving crime, as in what they're trying to predict next. And it wasn't officially created for profiling until 1970s. And it's usually more scientific, incorporating psychology and criminology together, as I said with Jack the Ripper and the dirty apron, or the thing that they had. As in doing this, they had two types that were either organized or disorganized. Organized ones are when they enter, they leave it clean. They had to leave no evidence apprehending that something happened, while the ones who aren't organized or disorganized, they act more rougher. It's more chaotic at crime scenes, they leave more evidence in trying to find these criminals. And as the profile states, Jack the Ripper was disorganized in the end because he left that dirty little apron. And the key of profiling is just analyzing data in what they have and what continues going on, as well as the core of competent criminal profiling is a lot different. It usually factors with age, race, occupation, and mental health. Mental health is something that is more used in profiling because either something's wrong and they want to know as well. But a solving crime that I have for you today will be John Wayne Gacy. He was known as the Killer Clown, and for him, his psychology was that he was linked with J. Wayne Gacy, who was known as the Killer Clown. It manifests in his background in academia. It narrows down with him for leading the arrest in 1979 because John Wayne Gacy confessed in killing over 33 teenage boys and young men between the years of 1972 and 1978 in Chicago, and they caught him. I think it was when he was kidnapping one of the boys, but he did confess in it. So today's profiling explored in criminal history of them and the methods that are used by the FBI, and profiling helped bring killers to justice as they did when they caught John Wayne Gacy for murdering those young men and boys. And what he did was horrifying, but they did caught him in Chicago, but they brought justice to their families in no